Good evening, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the back end of Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. It is 11:04 p.m. Pacific. Really good day. I find that these days with this 2-hour webinar for iCore definitely throws a curveball on the day because and this is what's going on, right? So I mentioned it this morning, and that's why this morning's post was so short. I haven't been focusing enough on putting together the presentation, and there's a whole list of reasons. They're good reasons because I'm focusing on other stuff, but I'm not focusing. I'm not like putting the micro work in during the week to like hit it, and that way by the time I get to it, let's say Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, because I have to present at 11 o'clock. But between 11 and 1 on Wednesday. And so you figure all Wednesday morning I'm going to spend on it, and then a little bit Wednesday night, and I got to do some work further back in the week, right? So I should really start tomorrow on the next presentation, even though next week we don't have one because it's July 4th. But anyway, I haven't been doing that. I've been focusing so much on the interviews and on the interview pipeline. And anyway, so this morning's presentation, it was definitely, I was rushed to get it together. I had some solid slides, but it wasn't refined. It wasn't nicely polished. It was a bit scatterbrained. And I also, one of the things I try to do is I try to do something really clever every time just to try a trick. Not a trick, but because this is essentially a part of this is like a pitch. And so I try some creative way to bring the audience into the pitch. And today, I tried something. And this is not tricky or sneaky. This is legitimate but just risky, right? Because what if I guess wrong and it's not really a good way to do it, and it could be painful to go through, for example. So, that's what I mean by tricky. Not at all devious or anything like that. So anyway, and I was really impressed because one of the instructors totally called me out on all this stuff. And it was interesting because I think we had a 9-minute presentation and then 5 minutes of feedback, and she took all the 5 minutes and she tore me a new one. But it was good. And I have to admit I appreciated it, and it was good to hear it because I felt it too, and it was good just to hear it very clear back at me. And the correction I'm going to make is spend more time on the presentation. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow I can start. That's really early because I'll have 2 full weeks. But and also, part of my, I guess this might be something I need to work on. I just thought about this. So part of my internal thoughts on this whole thing is, I'm in this iCore program. It's like being in a startup. I am extremely efficient with my time, I think. And its use, and so I find these presentations to be, let's see, what's the word here? I don't know, not the main focus, right? The content of them is an important focus, but as far as putting together this beautiful presentation, I don't think that's so important. It's more the content, and even if it's a bit clunky. Because, a good amount of the presentation really is reporting on what's going on with customer discovery and what's going on with the thoughts about partnerships and the thoughts about, the ecosystem. And so a lot of it is very dry and, I don't say technical, but not pitchy, right? And not flashy whatsoever. And so, for example, our ecosystem, I find it easier to draw it on a dry erase board and take a picture of it and then put it up as a slide. Looks a little bit, it just looks homegrown, but yeah, I find that to be a very efficient way to do it, as opposed to sit there with all these boxes and moving them around. And I find that I can fight PowerPoint a little bit more if I'm doing it that way for that, for that specific thing. So I do have this kind of personal thought about how to effectively use my time. And I'll admit, it doesn't always align with maybe what the project wants. Well, what the project wants, or I'm having a hard time explaining this, but I guess what I'm saying is this presentation is, in my opinion, it's tough for me to make it a high priority because, right, there's really no there's general feedback on it, but there's no real KPIs attached to it. It seems to be pretty free form. And, you know, I don't see a real big difference if I spend like 6 hours on it or if I spend like 2 hours on it as far as me benefiting in the class. But I do find that if I spend more time, filling the interview funnel, booking interviews, reviewing the interview notes, uploading those, and also like enabling my team to perform, so getting things for them, getting things for my PI and my industry mentor, and making sure that they're on the same page and they're communicating. I find that I get a lot more value and a lot bigger return on my investment of time doing those things than, spending time on a slide and like really, because I can spend hours and hours on one slide, right? This is the unfortunate potential with presentations, is that there's essentially unlimited work into creating one presentation. And so I think what's happening is that it's a low priority for me, and so I'm pushing off the work until the last minute, and then I get what I get. So anyway, all this mumbling and rambling I'm doing here. So I'm kind of like having like a live like self-audit right now. I'm really thinking about how I view this and whether or not this is like helping me or not. I can see why it's not helping me, because I'm not putting enough effort into the presentation, and that's clear. I don't know what the downside of that is in the class. Like, should I take away from time I put into the interviews? And I don't think I should. So do I add more time? I think I'm putting in a good amount. Maybe I can try to squeeze a bit more in. Maybe I can take away from some other projects, because that's the other thing about this iCore thing is it's a finite amount of time. It's all right. It goes till the end of another month. It goes till the end of July. So after July, it's done. So maybe I do put some of these other projects on hold, like some of these personal side projects on hold for next month, and then put some extra. I will try that in the next 2 weeks. See how that goes. Because there's not a big deal if I push those projects off a couple weeks, but I will not be doing iCore like this after July. So I will try that. So we'll try to correct and continue on that, because I do want to give a good presentation. Don't get me wrong. I just find that it's not a real high priority, and therefore it suffers a bit. So that's the conclusion after all that rambling there. So. Let's see. So the presentation. Other really exciting things about iCore is that now that we've really like honed in on a specific application within like a space, we have some research to do. We have some new areas to look in, some new contacts to make, new people to talk to. So I'm excited about that. And then the other thing is the success journal. Still just killing it with the success journal. I'm really enjoying that. I'm almost annoyed that I haven't been using it. Like just tonight, I busted out a few tasks. I added a few tasks. I had about an hour of time this afternoon, right? Before I had to go pick up my girls, and I was like, all right, what should I do? I'm done with iCore today. It's enough iCore. It's been like 8 or 9 hours of iCore. Let me give that a rest. Let me hit some of these other projects. And it was very easy for me to find a bunch of things to do, and I kind of mixed a whole bunch of tasks together in about 45 minutes, and it worked out great. And these are the kinds of tasks that they don't take very long. So it was calling some other team members on a different project just to check in and see if they needed anything, and they needed a little help talking to some folks, getting some people to respond. So I was able to send out a few emails. Took 10 minutes. But it really helps those guys. And then the other one is I was working with an intern on a design, so I was able to do a Google Hangout with him and tweak the design, get that moving forward. So and then I was able to check in on another project on some other things, some parts that we're making, and a meeting tomorrow that I need some parts for. So just And I was only able to do this because I had that success journal. Now, of course, I could have dug and maybe found these tasks somewhere. They might exist somewhere in emails and things, but to have it all right there in front of me and kind of right with everything. It's, and what I mean by that is right with the other projects, right? The side projects, the work projects, the iCore, the family stuff. So it's all right there. And anyway, you can check it out down below. It's linked down below, as well as a YouTube post I had explaining the whole success journal. And there's an outline down there and a template, so you can check that out. And that's where we're at. So I think we're gonna wrap here. A little bit more work to do, and then we're gonna get some rest tonight. So, and just to circle back on the bed bugs, yeah, that one. I think they're gone. We've had several nights, so all week, right? So we really kind of wrapped this up on Sunday. So here we are, Wednesday night. I'll check again with my oldest daughter tomorrow. No bites all week. I set out some traps, these little sticky traps to catch those little suckers if they come back. But I think we got them all. I think I found where they were all hiding. And that's the thing that I realized about the bed bug. It's like there's no doubt when you find them. I mean, there is no question. Right? These things are not subtle creatures, I have to say. Right? Their crap is everywhere. Oh man. And if you YouTube bed bugs, you will see some infestations, and I think I mentioned it before, but I'm thrilled that what I found was not even close to what I saw on YouTube. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine some of the things I saw on YouTube there. Anyway, nothing like getting intimate with some bed bugs. So, but this such is life. Now lice, that's a whole different one. That's a tough one as well. So, well, maybe some other day we'll talk about lice, or you can look it up yourself. Anyway, this is the thrill of having kids, and every day sending your kid into a room full of 20 other kids, right? And then bringing them back home. Great way to transfer bugs. Great way, all kinds of bugs, big ones, little ones, right? Colds, coughs, flus, all that stuff. And then to see that sickness travel through the family. Memories. Anyway, the joy of having little children, but they're great. They're great. Actually, I have to say, so Wednesday night my wife has she goes out, and so it's just me with the kids, and I was watching them today, and sometimes I just observe them in their interestingness, if that's a word, and just to watch them live. And to see like them go through a thought process, it's just fascinating. It really is. These little itty bitty people doing these things with such limited knowledge, and yet trying to do all this stuff, and it's just incredible to watch them. And the emotion is just through the roof. So a little bit about my family life, a little bit about my personal life there. So, but that's what this channel is all about. It's about my journey. This is all part of the journey. My family's along for the ride, and as a matter of fact, tonight I was just with the missus, and then she was going to sleep. Our youngest came into her bed, and that's when I went into the garage here to get some work done. And even my youngest daughter is like, "Daddy, where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, well, I got some work to do." She's like, "Oh, you going to the garage?" So even my 4-year-old is fully understanding that daddy goes to the garage to do work on a regular basis. So, but I think that's good. I think a good work ethic is very important. Right, a lot can be done with a good work ethic. A lot of shortcomings can be made up with hard work. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah. So, little family life. This is my channel, Burn at Both Ends. This is all about my journey as an aspiring entrepreneur, about things I'm going through, the successes, the failures, the challenges, the self-awareness, the self-audit. So subscribe if you like what you hear. I want to hear about your journey. A big piece of this is I want to be of service. So please comment down below, ask questions, ask for help. I'd love to help you. I'm certainly asking for a lot of help right now with this iCore program. There's no doubt about that. So, and I have to admit, it's tough. It is very tough. But it's important too, right? Because I find people love to help. So anyway, so I'd love to help. So if I can, comment down below. I'd love to hear what you got to say. And I think that's it. So check out the description down below. There's some good links to some motivational videos. This ENS platform, I'm digging this ENS platform. Check it out, ENSE, voice-based social media platform. And then I got some great music down there. And the beat in the background is an Afro beat inspired by Fela Kuti. G Money is my alter ego. I've been drumming for a few decades, so I write these drum songs. Check them out on SoundCloud. There's a link down below. And that's it. So get some good sleep. Wake up tomorrow, crush it, inspire folks, do great things, and I will see you in the morning.